Hello everyone, it's me again, Maximus. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We are talking about the artillery once again. My brethren in the Royal Canadian Artillery today are doing a fire mission which is directed at tanks, otherwise known as Tank Alert. It is something that as an artillery gunner you really don't want to be hearing, because unfortunately tanks, if they're on your position, something has gone very, very wrong. Either the battle group has been annihilated, you have been flanked, or some very overconfident tank platoon has decided to sneak through the line somehow to make it to our firing position. Now in the artillery, we don't ask others to protect us, we defend our own. We have our own defensive positions. The way in which we fire the guns for the most part is always going to be directed towards the enemy direction, and we will always have sentries and firing positions allowing us to defend against most threats. However, if there is an overwhelming threat of tanks coming towards us, we don't have any choice than to engage them with the gun as a direct fire roll, otherwise known as an anti-tank roll, to knock out tanks. Now, the C3 howitzer that we're looking at here today, the 105mm, does have the ability to fire sabot and high explosive anti-tank rounds. Some of the footage that I'm going to show you today, we are just purely firing high explosive anti-tank, and for the most part in the artillery, that's what we're focusing on firing, is projectiles that are able to knock out targets from indirect fire, which allows us to basically use bearings and angles to engage the enemy from a distance. In Tank Alert, or when we're engaging in an anti-tank roll, we're not using the 3 sight, we're using our tank optic that is basically attached on the 2 side, or the right hand member of the gun, to engage the target. A lot more threat at this point. If tanks are coming, it's go time, right? There's no messing around, and it's go time anyway, but if a tank is coming towards you, you've got to get that round on target as quickly as possible. And the footage you're about to see is some gunners from 78th Field Regiment who are going to be engaging pretend tanks in a training scenario to allow us to practice our gunnery when it comes to, okay, things have hit the fan, it's time to actually knock out some tanks, or potentially not just tanks, armored personnel carriers, infantry, any kind of enemy force that is really a huge threat to our gun position. Now, if the gun's are already in a fire mission in an indirect role, and we do have enemies coming towards us, there's a few options that we would have. We can either crash out, which means we break down everything, take the guns and get the heck out of there. We can continue firing in the fire mission as indirect fire and continue putting rounds downrange, supporting the all-arms battle. Or we can put the guns level, engage the targets with the guns themselves. But when we're normally in a fire mission providing indirect fire support, for the most part, we're going to keep putting rounds down range if we have to, even if people are engaging us. And that's how the artillery works. The fire mission takes precedence. Even if we're getting shot at, round still must go down range. So let's take a look at this footage then, and you can kind of understand the way in which the guns are working. The number 2 is doing most of the aiming now instead of the number 3 on the panoramic telescopic sight. In this instance, they're actually using the straight direct tank optic that is on the right hand side of the gun. So let's take a look. And by the way, these gunners did a fantastic job, and big shout out to every Royal Canadian Artillery member that are serving in this video. It's pretty good footage, so let's take a look.
Target hold! There! Your target move!
New target! Zone 2! Range 800! Range 800! Hey! Stand by! Fire!
Back to zone 1!
Target zone 1! Range 700! 700! On! Ready! Stand by! Fire! Fire! Fire!
Target 1. He moved to target 1.
Check firing! Target 1! Infantry advancing! Cancel check firing! Range! 650!
650.
On!
Ready! Stand by! Fire!
On! Ready!
Stand by! Fire! He's back at target 2.
Check firing! Target 2! Range 650! Cancel check firing! On!
Ready! Stand by! Fire!
Lead right 10!
Right, Ken!
On!
Ready! Stand by! Fire!